And we are live from the heartland of America and hopefully from my heart straight to yours as well. Welcome to the Christian Whistleblower channel. We're here to remind you that you don't have original sin. You got the spark of divinity and you don't need salvation. You don't have to crawl on your knees to their Savior because you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. You are guaranteed life and life more abundant if you'll grab it, and peace that passes all understanding. Today, we have a great broadcast for you about prophecy, colon, thief in the night. No, I don't mean a prophecy about the thief in the night. No, I don't mean prophecy about the second coming. I mean prophecy itself is a thief in the night. We're probably going to have the folks from Fluffy back on soon. They brought out some more products. They've added more products to the Fluffy subscriptions. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the Fluffy logo. You get it 30 days free. Somebody said I only saw 15 days free. What you saw was two 15-day free offers, one for your phone and one for your home. So you get a total of 30 days free. This is a great time to do it since many of you are spending some extra time at home these days. Tracy says prophecy is bait. I like that too. Let's go ahead and look at this subject matter. I think you're going to enjoy it. And it's my hope to move beyond just the bad news of what's going on and dealing with the news of what's going on and to bring us some positive things that we can do in the interim and during this time, because we are going to come out better than ever, sooner than you can ever imagine. I know everyone else is telling you the world's bad and it's getting worse. I'm here to tell you the world is good and it's getting better, and it's soon to be better than it's ever been. Exciting times we live in. Don't listen to the naysayers or the fear mongers. So let's take a look at this. Today is my favorite day. And I saw this little thing in a very unlikely locale, and I'm not going to tell you where it was, but that's okay. It's Winnie the Pooh, that lovable little bear. And why didn't they give that brother a longer shirt? I have always wondered, why can't they give him a shirt that fits? He looks like he works at Hooters on the weekend. I don't know. But anyway, there's Winnie the Pooh, and there's Piglet. Looks kind of like they're walking through the snow. I don't know if it's snow or maybe they're just walking through the sand. I don't know if they had snow. Can't remember. But Winnie the Pooh is asking Piglet, his little piggy friend, "What day is it?" asked Pooh. And Piglet says, "It's today." And then Pooh responds, "My favorite day." Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages, wisdom from Winnie the Pooh. He says, today is my favorite day. Do you have any idea how powerful of a statement that is? And here's another statement from the source from which I found this lovable little cartoon. When we say somebody should be in present time, and we all do, all of us that are in this enlightenment stuff, all of us that are in this get ourselves better stuff, all of us that are in this truther stuff, all of us that are in this new age stuff. I hate those terms. There's all of us that are trying to unindoctrinate ourselves. Boom. All of us that are trying to unindoctrinate ourselves. We say somebody should be in present time. You got to live in the present, as Tracy just said. That bear is bear. Back to Pooh. Anyway, thanks, Dyer. The bear is bear. But when we say somebody should be in present time, we mean something by that. Those of us that know what we're talking about, we mean that he or she should be in communication with the environment. You need to be in touch with where you are, who you are, what you are, when you are. You need to be in present time. And beyond that, you need to be in communication with your environment as it exists now, currently, not as it used to exist, Now, let me read that all in one. When we say somebody should be in present time, we mean he should be in communication with his environment. We mean further that he should be in communication with his environment as it exists, not as it existed, because yesterday, folks, is history. We understand the futility of living in the past, or do we? How much of your time is spent, and I'm challenging you, I'm asking you, how much of your time is spent in today? How much of your time is spent in right now? And how much of your time is spent in yesterday? What has, what was, what's been? How many of you live in your glory days? My glory days. How many of you live in your glory days? How many of you live in days that perhaps weren't so glorious and they're in your past? How many of you are still living in your past? And by definition, I would offer to you that living in your past is when your mind is on your past, when your mind is in the past, when your mind is thinking of things of the past, reminiscing about things of the past, ruminating about things of the past, upset about things of the past. Are you living in the past? If you are, you cannot be in the present. And I heard an analogy from a person, probably the only good one I ever heard from them, but it was a really good one. They're talking about driving down the road in a car. You can't keep your eye on the rearview mirror while you're driving, or sooner or later, you're going to crash. It's the same thing with your life. You can't keep your eye on the rearview mirror for very long, or you're going to crash. Sometimes you keep your eye on the rearview mirror just to correct your path, just to make sure you're going in the right direction. Not saying you never take a look back, but if you focus on the rearview mirror, you are going to have a crash. And I remember back when I was a preacher, I used to have a few sayings, little witticisms that I would take from church to church. And it's great when you're evangelist, because if you got 10 or 12 really good sermons, you can preach them, 10 or 12 of them. You know, you're an evangelist, you go to a church once a year. As long as you don't preach the same one 2 years in a row, you're good. And I used to have this one, and I used to say that today's victory cannot be won on the strength of yesterday. Today's victories, you can't win today's battles. That's what I used to say, but I'm in a more positive place now. You can't win today's battles on the strength of yesterday's victory. But today, I don't think we have to lock ourselves into a battle. Today's victory will not be won by strength from yesterday's battle. Today, we have to take care of today. And we have to renew ourselves and focus ourselves and encourage ourselves on a daily basis. Today's victory cannot be achieved on yesterday's strength. Our past does not equal our future, positively or negatively. You are not the man you once were. You're not the woman you once were. Some of you say, thank goodness, and some of you cry and shed a little tear. But your past doesn't equal your future. I don't care how bad you were in the past. You can be much, much better in your present and in your future. And I don't care how good you were in your past, you still got to keep it up, because here's a truism. And I just thought this up myself. I've never heard anybody say it. And I think it's really profound. Time permits but very little momentum. There's not much momentum in time. And if you have had a bad past and done bad stuff you don't like to do and wish you didn't do, and you're not the person that you wanted to be in your past, the fact that time doesn't permit much momentum is good, because that bad will stop and be left behind and not follow after you. Now, if you're depending upon what you did back then to get you through where you are now, might be a problem. If you're depending upon who you were back then to get you through where you are right now, might be a problem. Yesterday's history. Time permits, but very little momentum, cousins, friends of all ages. Yesterday's history, but tomorrow is a mystery. We often forget, in my opinion, that living in the future can be just as damaging as living in the past. Today's victories cannot be won with tomorrow's strength. Because tomorrow, folks, is not promised to you. And it can't be mortgaged. It can't be borrowed against. You're going to get there, barring unforeseen circumstances, but each day is sufficient to itself of challenges, opportunities, and fuel for getting through it. But if you're living in the future, you're not living in the present. You're not living in today. And if we go back to our car analogy, you can't be looking in the rearview mirror all the time, or you're going to crash. And when I was taught to drive, I was taught to look through the glass of the car in front of me and try to see out beyond, look at some of those cars out beyond. And that's a good practice, but you can't be looking way down the road for long, or you're going to crash into something right in front of you. Yesterday's history. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, is a mystery, but today is a gift, and that's why it's called the present. And Pooh knew. That bear was bare, but he knew. Pooh had figured out the secret. Not that secret. But Pooh knew that to be effective, you have to be in present time. And not just in present time, but in communication with your environment as it exists now. Who are you now? I know you used to be a bodybuilder, but what do you look like? I know you used to be a bodybuilder, and I know you are going to be in good shape in the future, but what do you look like right now? I know you used to be a spiritual giant, and you're going to be the second coming, but who are you right now? I know that you used to be here. You're going to be there, but where are you right now? To be effective, you've got to be in present time. You've got to be in communication with your environment as it exists now, not as it once did, or as it may one day exist in the future. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what do you want to do now? A great question to ask yourself, and I need to ask myself this question more. What is the most productive thing I could do right now? Ooh. And why do you think that we live in a system that's built on keeping you focused on the past and distracted about the future? Why do you think we live in that system? Because probably they don't want us to focus on the present, because they know that's where we do our best work. And that's where we don't do any work anywhere else but the present. We don't do anything anywhere but the present. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Why is prophecy a thief in the night? Why? Because prophecy focuses you on both yesterday and tomorrow and robs you of the gift of today. Prophecy focuses on yesterday and tomorrow and robs you of the gift of today. Robs you of the gift of the present. Because it focuses, prophecy does, on learning what someone wrote yesterday. They got a whole book, bigger than Ian Jacqueline's book, about stuff that happened in the past. and they want you to learn it, and they want you to master it. And you're talking to a guy that spent 20 years preaching it, 4 years in Bible study learning it, and over 100,000 hours invested in it. They want you to know and focus on and spend a lot of time learning what somebody wrote yesterday. So you spend all this time, and it was all written yesterday. It was all written up to a couple thousand years ago. So it was all written yesterday, right? So you spend all this time focusing on learning what someone wrote yesterday about what's going to happen tomorrow. It's comical when you think about it. And what are these mass media types and these ass media types constantly jabbering about today? Prophecy. The mass media doesn't use that word. They just use collapse, ruin, war, famine, pestilence. And the ass media here on YouTube, they talk about, the same collapse, the same failure, the same pestilence, the same death, the same war, the same famine, only they call it prophecy. They add a little P to it, and all of a sudden it's supposed to taste great. Prophecy has you studying what somebody wrote yesterday about what's going to happen tomorrow, and you never get around to living in today because you're afraid of what's going to happen tomorrow. You miss your life because you've never lived in today. You miss the gift of the present, and they keep you distracted by what happened yesterday and what they said yesterday about what's going to happen tomorrow, and you never find out that today you live in a fear and guilt, blood magic control matrix. You spend all your time reading about yesterday, something that was written yesterday about what's going to happen tomorrow, and you allow yourself to be convinced that you're filled with original sin and that you're a sinner and that you need salvation and they got the only savior in town. It's a lie. It's a travesty. It's a mockery. It's a sham. It's a Travis schmuckery, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Cousins of all ages. Geo Hawk said prophets are bandits. They are. Whenever anyone's talking to you about prophecy, they're stealing from you. They're stealing hope. They're stealing peace. And they're stealing your presence of the presence. Prophecy's a thief in the night. Don't buy it. Say no to the ass media here on YouTube. That's my exhortation to you today, ladies and gentlemen. That's my exhortation to you. And you might want to remember, Cynthia and I are always asking each other, what day is it? Today. What day is it? Asked Boo. It's today. Wank, wank, squeaked Piglet. Ooh, my favorite day, said Pooh. Pretty smart for a bear, right? What say you in the chat room, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages? Here we go. Ian Jacqueline says, epic. I like it. I like it like that. Tracy says prophecy is bait. Michael says it's a mousetrap. Brandon says no other place he'd rather be than right here, right now. That's the only time and place you can get anything done. Tracy with her great little joke, the bear is bare. Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Thanks for ruining my presentation, Brandon, by dropping that early. Pooh lives in the present. And that's no shit. Le Champion, I am. Thank you so much. With apologies to my friend Chris Jericho. Know your surroundings. Be aware of your surroundings. And we're going to have Master Master Wong on in April, and he's an expert at teaching us on how to live in the modern world and protect ourselves. Master Wong tell you be aware of your circumstance. You look all around. You'll never be surprised because you never know when they come. You gotta put their face down into dog shit. You will love Master Wong. I can't wait to have Master Wong on the channel. You can never go. Master Wong is always right. Just remember that, ladies and gentlemen. And I think about Mark Twain, who said, I wasted my life worrying about so many things. And one or two of them actually happened. He spent his life in the future. And he never got to open his presents in the presence. Ooh, I like it. Don't be shackled to your past. And don't be married to it either. I just had a weird analogy come to my mind. Living in your past is like having sex with a sex doll. It might feel good in the moment, but it's never going to produce anything. Think about that one. We need to act in the right now. Absolutely. Conditioning is powerful. Habits to break. Yep, we can do it. And we are doing it. I trust you. The past and the future don't exist. Oh, that's so good. Only the present. The only time is now. Absolutely. Great chat room. Let's see what else we got. Someone said something in the past that may happen in the future. Yeah. Good luck spending all your time on that. What you do today is what builds your future. Absolutely. Absolutely. Prophecy is subject to change. Absolutely. What you think about is what you bring about. Ooh. I like that one, Tracy. What you think about is what you bring about. I like it. The aforementioned Geohawk prophets are bandits. Best message ever, says June. Thank you very, very much. Prophets are in it for the profit, says Nigel, Devil's Playground channel. Make sure you subscribe. And he's absolutely right. Yesterday, when it was tomorrow, it was too exciting a day for me. Is that from Winnie the Pooh? Yesterday, when it was tomorrow, was too exciting a day for me. You can't get your mind around it. Tomorrow is like, oh, don't even talk to me about tomorrow. Just let me finish my work here today. Boom. I like it. Give yourself a present by being present. Boom. I love it. I love it. That's a very, very good one. Let's see. What else we got? Amazing. Spiritually, it would produce, but no babies. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Wow is now. Now is time for the wow. Now's your time to do some wow. Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Very fantastically stated. A little bit of help, little push, little gentle nudge, a little reminder. I've got some great stuff coming up for you over the next few days as we hunker down a little bit. But, we're about to resurrect this thing come Easter, and it's going to be better than it's ever been before. And in the interim, we'll get better than we've ever been before. So when it's better than it's ever been before, boom, we can take full advantage. Thank you so much, Radnor Lockwood, loving the channel. It's a welcome break. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. And Radnor, if you're new, you may not know, let's get ready for the resurrection of America come April 12th by resurrecting our great basic purposes within our hearts. Let's get ready for the resurrection of America by resurrecting our resident inner badass that is out of gum and is here to kick it and take it, if you know what I mean. Like Tracy says, thumbs up or thumbs down on the way out. Subscribe, hit that bell. And remember, folks, Mark Twain did say that it's easier to fool someone than it is to convince them they've been fooled. And it's harder still to convince them to do something about it, but that's our job. And that's okay. because we're the last generation of real humans, and we're here to show people how to win, 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 and then win again. And the way we're going to do it is by unindoctrinating ourselves. So let's get busy.